Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, well, I'll get back to you very shortly. Just give me a call back after Mindy's. Yeah, no worries at all. Yeah, fantastic. Right, let's back. Oh, I'm on. Give me a second. I'm on live. 1 minute. Talk to you later. Right, bye. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, bye. Hey, welcome to the Friday Night Live show with Stuey V. We are going to have some fun today. We're going to go straight into the interview. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to do our announcements a little bit later on. So we're going to get straight into it today. We're not going to waste any time. This is season 1, episode 9 of a Friday Night Live show. And we've got an amazing host, amazing guest coming on, Mindi Miller. Mindi Miller is here live and loud on the show. We've also got the amazing Paul Fenech as well. I say amazing a lot of times, apparently, I've been told. So I'm going to count how many times I say it now. So we're going to go straight into it. And the phone again. Give me 1 second. I'll get it. Yeah, I know she's backstage. Yep, she's got minimal time. I understand that. We are going to get stuck into it. All right. Yeah, yep. They hang up on me. Typical. They always hang up on me. Always. All right. We're not going to waste any time, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to play this video first before we get this amazing lady on, and just watch this of some of her acting career. Here we go. You'll enjoy this.
She was an outcast, dishonored among her own people.
Must go.
The wife of a chief, thrust into a conflict that tore her world apart.
What's the name? Yeah, I'm gonna send him his woman dead.
Her own child killed by fever, she nursed the trapper's infant son.
Now what's he saying?
He figures the baby belongs to them.
See Sacred Ground, starring Tim McIntyre and Jack Elam.
That's right, legend. Please welcome to the show, and please welcome actress, model, spokesperson, stuntwoman, karate expert, Elvis's former girlfriend and close friend of Elvis and the Memphis Mafia. Please welcome Ms. Mindi Miller. Mindi,
Hello.
welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, my dear. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for your time coming on the show.
Oh, it's my pleasure. That was quite an introduction.
I tried to list it all down, but had not enough room on the page for it.
Yeah, you did. You did very, very well. You did well. How are you doing sitting there at Graceland? I love it.
I know. I just thought I'd relax at Graceland and come out the front and take you back home. So give you a feeling of being home.
You could not be at a better place, Stuey.
Fantastic.
Best place on earth. Best place.
Yes, I do agree. Yeah. Look, before we go into the questions about Elvis, let's talk about you. Now, you were born and raised in California, LA. What was it like growing up in LA?
Very Hollywood. It was very Hollywood. I was adopted at birth, and I did not know that both of my natural parents were in show business. And in fact, Jack Elam, the big character actor that you just showed on Sacred Ground, was a friend of my dad's. And the whole 2.5 months we were shooting in Chiloquin, Oregon, which was outside Medford, Rocky Point, he did not know that my dad had a daughter, and I did not know that he knew my dad. So he did about three or four films with my father. Jack Elam was a very big character actor. If you Google him, you'll die.
I've seen him in a couple. When I looked at the trailer, I actually saw him, and I've seen him in a few movies. I was like, wow, can't believe he actually worked with this guy. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he had a wandering eye, and Tim McIntyre, who is the son of Jeanette Nolan, and he was a brilliant actor. He unfortunately passed away about 3 months after we finished that. And the director, Charles Pierce, did some great movies. I think he's originally from Louisiana. I think Louisiana or Kentucky, but I think it's Louisiana. Yeah. And he did Bogey Creek and Return to Bogey Creek, and his daughter is still a very good friend of mine, and she's living in New Hampshire. But growing up in LA, it was very Hollywood. It was not, it was very normal to go to a supermarket and see stars, and they're just shopping for food. And anywhere between LA and the San Fernando Valley, where I grew up, I remember seeing Charlton Heston, and Charlton Heston was buying liquor in the liquor store at Turner's, which was around the corner from Gazzari's. And Gazzari's was the hot place at that time to go dancing. And I went home to my mom and I said, Mom, you'll never guess who I saw. And, he was huge. He's very, very tall, like, I don't know, 6'5" or something. Or 6'4".
That's right, yeah.
Very, very tall man. And I said, Mom, and I didn't know who it was. And I said, I just saw Moses buying liquor. She goes, oh, she says, you mean Charlton Heston? And I went, yeah. I mean, it was so normal. And, you see people all the time. I mean, even now, you'll see people just driving in their car. They're walking down the street, or they're in Beverly Hills or Hollywood. It's just real normal to see it. So I grew up with it. And so when I met Elvis, it wasn't that it wasn't a big deal, because he was one of the bigger stars and celebrities. But I was very calm about it. I wasn't, a big fan of his or
Yeah, yeah,
anything.
that's right.
'Cause
Yeah, yeah.
I started in the industry at 12, and stayed in it most of my life. And then I was in television. I was in radio and advertising,
And you
pre-production,
you did
post-production.
modeling. You ventured into modeling as well, the modeling world for a number of years.
Yeah, when I was really young and skinny at 13, and my neighbor came to my mom and said, your daughter's like 5'8", and she's 13 years old, and she's really thin, because I hadn't filled out yet. And she said, why didn't you get her into modeling? So I did, and then I entered a beauty pageant at 13, and I started teaching by the time I was 16. So I've been in it my whole life. I mean, I know a lot of people. I've met some incredible people, and it's been a really interesting, long journey. And
Interesting.
I'll
I know how you highlighted long journey.
no, it is. I mean, imagine I've been in it since 12, and I'll be 70 in July.
Yeah, you're turning a big 7-0 this year. That's right. Not only a few
I
weeks.
can't
Yeah.
even believe it. I'm in such denial. It's like crazy.
And you
I
do
now,
not look it. No, no way in the
thank
world
you,
do you look that. No, you look
thank you.
amazing. You look amazing. Now,
It took a village tonight. It took a
yeah.
village,
Now
and
you've
I
been
don't,
in
and
many
I don't
movies.
mean, and I don't mean the village people.
Yeah. I was going to start singing YMCA then, but
Right?
MCA.
Right? Oh God.
Now you've been in many movies over the years. Now TV shows. 73, you're in Hell Up in Harlem. 75, Switch with Robert Wagner. 76, you're in Monster Squad. 77, Quark. Now, here's actually a bit of snippet of Mindy Miller in Quark, that very same TV show.
Wait! Commander, be careful. I sense that something on this planet has the power to cloud our minds.
Cloud our minds? Where did she go? I know you, don't I? Work here. Commander, this is Gene. What? I can't hear you.
He's all tied up.
That's awesome. And you're in Knight Rider, NBC TV miniseries V. I actually remembered that. How did your acting career take off for you? That was awesome.
I was very lucky, to be very honest with you, because looking back now, I realize that when you look at most of the people in the business now, it's very generational. There a lot of
Yeah.
the younger people that are in it, their parents were in it.
Yeah.
When you look at, and I can't even think of let's say Angelina Jolie. I mean, her dad was in it, and you see so many of these stars. I mean, and celebrities, Diana Ross's daughter, Tracy Ross. They have an in, they have a foot in, and it's easier for them to get a foot in. If you're a director. Oh, and there's Bryan Cranston. You see how young Bryan Cranston
Yeah, that's
is?
right. Very young there. That's right. Yeah.
Very young. That was one of his first films. I played his wife in that film, and Ernest Borgnine, and it was considered at the time a B film. And it took Brian 35 years to make it big. I mean, people work that long and that hard to make it in the industry, and you have to stay in it, because the minute you walk away, it's very tough to get back in. It's like a spoke on a wheel. You take out that spoke on the wheel and try and put it back. it's rare that it's going to work. You have to have a big name to leave it and come back in. So I was very lucky because I didn't know that my parents were in it. My mom was a singer, dancer, actress. My grandmother on my mother's side was an opera singer. My dad
Wow.
was a major stuntman. He was a big character actor. The year I was born, 1950, he did a big film called The Sundowners
I've
with
heard of
Jack
that.
Elam, yeah, and
Yeah.
Alan Ladd.
Yes.
So he worked with everybody, and he was known as the bullwhip man of Hollywood. He did a ton of stunts, but his last job was at 75 years young with Carol Burnett, and she specifically asked for him. And he came from Europe, from Poland, so who knew I was half Polish? And my mother was half Spanish and half German, so I always thought I was Italian with the dark hair, you know. So then I went to live in Italy thinking I was Italian and I needed to find my roots, and here I wasn't. But it was fun, and I traveled and I met great people, and I had dinner at Henry Mancini's house, and I
Wow.
was dating David Tebbutt at the time. I was really young. He was 60 he was 60 years old. I was like 18, okay. And, you know, but nothing happened. But he would, you know, older men in Hollywood, they want young women. That's the problem. They like
Yeah.
young women. Women my
Nothing's
age,
changed.
nothing, yeah, things don't change, let's be honest. So, you know, women in my age group don't have a shot. You know, now, I mean, you know, you're better off going someplace else out of Hollywood to meet somebody. But I remember to my left was Roger Moore, the Saint, and
Oh,
007. So Roger Moore is
big
sitting there.
fan. Big
I
fan.
Roger Moore is a great guy, and he was sitting next to me on my left. And David Tebbutt, who is the president of NBC Television, is my date, and he's sitting on the right. And across from me is Henry Mancini, you know, who did all the Pink Panther movies, which Elvis loved,
Yep.
and his wife. So it's this big round table down the street from the Beverly Hills Hotel, and Roger Moore leans over to me and he's talking, and he's my dinner partner to my left. And, you know, I was pretty sophisticated for 18, 19, 20 years old, I have to say. And I'd been around, you know, and working. So it wasn't anything out of the normal. But he leaned over to me and he said, "You know who you're sitting next to, don't you?" And I said, "Yes, my date." And he said, "Well, you know, it's David Tebbutt, the president of NBC." I said, "Yes, I know that." And he looked at me and he was eating, and then he whispered in my ear, and I went over to him to look like this. And he said, "You know," he says, "I've got two daughters, or one daughter, forget." He says, "But," he says, "I wouldn't dare let her out to date an older man like that." And I just looked at him incredulously, and I just went, "Oh, okay," like that. And I just smiled. I didn't know what to say. I thought, well, I'm not going to get myself in trouble. But he was letting me know that he did not approve of it,
Yeah, yeah.
which was crazy.
Now you've trained extensively in karate, Shotokan and Kempo. Now, in addition, you've trained in firearms, sword fighting, horseback riding, hand-to-hand combat, gymnastics. Where did all that stem from? Obviously, your dad was he was a stuntman, so
Yeah.
you've obviously followed up on that. But the karate side of things, where did that stem from?
You know, it's something I just always wanted to do. I
Yeah,
was more of a tomboy, even now. And the thing of it is that in in the entertainment industry, the more you're able to do, the more you're going to get hired. So there weren't a lot of women doing stunt work at the time, and I was one of the first actresses that actually did her own stunt work. And I very, very rarely ever had a stunt person. And some of the stunts were so difficult, they actually had to get stunt men to double for me.
wow,
And
okay.
yeah, and so I doubled for other women, but I think once or twice I had a woman double for me. And the only time they did it was if they really felt your life was in danger. And I remember once when, well, not one, well, it was a couple of times, there were some really dangerous things. I was supposed to go tread across a cavern in Amazons, and it was, I don't know how many feet below, and there was nothing below. I mean, if I slipped or my hand slipped, I was dead. And I said, no, I really want to do it. And they said, we can't let you go all the way across. And I said, well, okay. So what happens is I've got this rope above my head, and I'm supposed to be traversing on the rope, coming across the rope, swinging my legs and all that. So I went out as far as they would allow me to, and then I came back in. But then they actually had a guy dressed up as me with a wig and the same costume as mine, and he went all the way across. So then I went across, I walked around and went across, and then I backed up on the rope, literally backed up. And then they said, okay, come forward. And I would come forward, and we'd retake it over and over. So I had to go back, come in, go back, reverse it, and come in.
I saw that snippet as well. Yeah, I saw that
Yeah,
snippet.
as if I traversed the whole thing. So I wanted to do as many of my own stunts as I could. And it was fun. And, I mean, one of the prerequisites that you had to know how to act and hit your mark and all that.
Yeah.
But B, you had to be able to ride a horse, with the sword in your hand, flailing around, do the karate. Then you had to be able to do the nunchucks, and then sword fight.
Well, talking about that movie, Amazons, I've actually got a snippet from that movie. That was you were a lead role in that movie as well, weren't you?
Yeah, I played a character named Diala, and it was fun. And I took the role not so much because I had great acting ability, but it offered me to go to Buenos Aires, Argentina. So I took a lot of these B films that I did. And you don't start at the top in the entertainment business.
That's right.
I mean, you can do 20, 30 B films before you even get a small role in an A film. It takes time.
That's right.
You have to build up to it. Like I said, Bryan Cranston took him over 30 years to make it big, and he was a working actor. But I took a lot of stuff to be able to travel, like to the Philippines, to Europe, to Rome, to Canada, to Mexico. So I traveled all over the world. And that was basically because I love to travel. I love to meet people. And I love history. I'm a voracious reader of history. So if my agent knew if there was a film going somewhere that was really cool to visit, I took it. It didn't mean it was a great film or I did a great job in it, because it wasn't great writing, but it was fun. I got paid and I got to travel.
Yeah, exactly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here's a bit of a snippet from Amazons as well, that very same movie that Mindi had a lead role in. Here we go.
The Outlaws!
I love that roundhouse kick you done. I watched that and I've replayed it a few times.
Everybody goes, why didn't you just do it nude? And I'm like, that's the outfit. What can I tell you? What can I say?
I watched the snippet before that. I went, I can't put that bit in the show.
The thing is, in Hollywood, you do love scenes, you kiss people you've never met before. I remember once I had a kissing scene with the actor that I never even met. And we had to do a kissing scene. We said hi, and he had to go right into it. I mean, it's normal in Hollywood and in the acting industry. It's just normal. It's different than doing theater or stage on Broadway or off Broadway in New York. And I know that there are Elvis fans that don't approve of it, and they're Southern and they're Baptist and they're religious, and I respect that and I understand it. But when you're an actor and you're in that industry, you're called on to do things, and sometimes you can say no, but a lot of times you won't work. And I had the body. I did. I couldn't help it.
You did, that's right. Well, there's a video, there's a photo that I'm putting up now. That's for you from Amazon. So
yeah,
you did have a body,
I did a lot of bodybuilding. I did a ton of weightlifting. I worked out constantly. I'm still a size 4. I still train. I still lift weights. I still run and jog.